I got it stuck in your head now. Ha 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 ha. Ha ha ha, you're welcome.
Did you just go from one Lin-Manuel Miranda song to like another?
Yep.
Sweet. Start the show. What's going on, everybody? It is Tuesday at 9:30 p.m. Central Time. That means it is time for the tagline. We are the Cinefanatics, and we are here to talk about movies and all kinds of fun stuff or another. I don't need the headphones anymore because we've switched the screen over. Anyways, I am Robert Adams, and you?
Yeah, you're like DJ Robert Khaled over there. Another one.
Another one, and another one, and another one.
My name's Chris Adams. We are doing the 20th episode of the tagline. This is episode number 20.
So this is episode 20. This is 21 weeks into this.
It's about time we start figuring out what we're doing for episode 100.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting pretty close to this.
Based on how we plan out things, it's probably best if we start planning out what we're doing.
That's right. So we're on episode 20, planning out our centennial already.
Yeah.
Well, that's 100 years, so that doesn't make sense. Whatever. We're here to talk about movies, not here to talk about math. Man.
Oh man.
It's been a fun week.
What
are you doing?
I'm tweeting that we're live because I keep forgetting to do that before we actually go live.
That's right, y'all. We are live.
We're live. If you're not in here, get in here. And if you are in here, then you don't have to worry about it because you already know.
Speaking of which, I found quite possibly the most perfect gadget that would help us with that, where all you have to do is just push a button and it sends out to Twitter, "Hey, we're live. Get on in here." That would be fantastic. I want to get this device because there's a whole bunch of fun things that would be a blast to play with. So anyone who's watching that wants to do YouTube channel stuff or whatever, I want to play with this device, and if it does what I think it's going to do, I'll talk about it for free.
Is it the same thing you've been talking about?
It is, actually.
Nice.
I've been researching this thing for the past couple of weeks. I'm not going to make it sound like I just now discovered it, but I'm eager to play with this thing once I can get it, and I think it's going to do great for live stream shows.
Awesome. Well, first off, before we get started here, I want to talk about tonight's sponsor. Tonight's sponsor is the color blue. Like it is every night. As you can see, everything's blue. Our frame is blue. Curtains are blue. My shirt is blue. And I'm enjoying a nice blue lemonade drink.
Nice pop. That was a good popping sound.
It's going to work very well for our audio listeners. That's right. We're on audio now.
Oh, yeah.
If you didn't know the last few weeks, I forgot to shake this first. If you didn't know these last few weeks, we've been talking about...
Always shake your blue.
Always shake my... What?
I don't know.
We're on audio now, guys. We are on Spotify. We're on the Apple. We're on the Google. We're on the everywhere you can get your podcasts. It is. Oh, I'm cracking my voice. We're just doing podcasts now.
So how's puberty working for you?
It's doing pretty good.
Yeah, pretty soon you're gonna get hair in weird places. Start thinking about girls.
A few whiskers on my chin.
Yeah. Here's the thing. That's an old joke that I just made.
Old, very old.
That one has been a joke. I forgot where I've heard that from.
The 80s called. They want your joke back.
I mean, that's almost a joke. I believe I may have heard it from back in the 80s. I like that joke. I feel like it's a good classic joke, but I just now realized when saying it this time, whoo, that's going to be dated pretty soon. You're going to get hair in weird places and start thinking about girls. You don't have to necessarily be thinking about girls. I don't want to say that when you go through puberty, that's what happens.
But you do have to get hair in weird places.
But you do have to get hair in weird places.
That happens to legitimately everybody.
Pretty much. Sometimes.
Welcome to the Cinefanatics, where we talk about
body hair,
hormones, and what happens to you when you reach a certain age in life.
Shave them pubes.
Really?
We're not sponsored by Manscaped yet.
No.
Oh, okay. So we don't have to talk about pube shaving it. No. That'll come.
Everybody
later.
Who's in our chat right now just left.
Yeah. Or they're like, "Oh, tell me more about what to do with pubes."
Everybody who's on the podcast just gave us a bad rating on Apple. Which reminds me, guys, if you're on the Apple podcast, give us a good rating. That way we can get our show in front of more ears. Is that how?
in front of more
I
ears.
guess that's how podcasting works. Honestly.
And you can see us on YouTube.
And we need to get a new table.
We need to get a new table.
Because every time I bump it, I'm afraid that we're going to spill everything.
Speaking of all these changes we want to make, feel free to drop your questions down in the Streamlabs, which is over there above his head. Drop us some questions, anything you want to talk about. I will preface this show right off the bat. This is going to be, I feel like out of all the shows we've done so far in the 20 shows we have done, this is probably going to be one of the most fan-driven shows later in this episode.
Yep.
Because we're going to want some feedback. We're going to interact, and it's a lot of what we have. Okay.
It's feedback.
Oh, that was some bad feedback. What we're going to be doing, what our plan is for y'all to throw out recommendations that don't necessarily need to come through Streamlabs or Super Chat. But
if you go through the
it'll get our
Schmobot-
attention.
Oh, we don't have a Schmobot.
We don't have a Schmobot.
We don't have a bot.
But there's going to be some interaction, so stick around for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. But if you have questions, comments, anything else you want to say, please help us out. We just mentioned a couple of things that we actually do honestly want to pick up. We need fundage for that. Go to Streamlabs. Super Chat is okay. We prefer Streamlabs if at all possible. Also, hop on the Patreon. The link's right there above my head. We've got some stuff coming on Patreon pretty soon.
I think something was crawling on me.
Yeah, that happens. Yeah. We're in a cheap apartment.
I don't know.
This really is right here. This is like the nicest part of our apartment. that and the whole wall that's back over here.
Not true. My bathroom is a luxury.
Yeah. That and the whole wall over here that's covered by a giant green sheet so we can have a green screen.
You're right.
Anyways, and that Joker poster in our normal videos is pretty nice too. It's pretty freaking sweet.
So one of the things that we're going to do, honestly, on our Patreon, let's just pop that out real quick, is that we're going to do a movie watch-along this month. I meant to talk to you that before we went live, so we could try to figure out exactly what movie we're going to do before we went live tonight.
Are we not doing Demolition Man?
It's not streaming anywhere.
Ah, dang it.
That's been the problem with doing Demolition Man this entire time. It's
Yeah.
not streaming anywhere.
So here's the thing. Subconsciously, what I'm trying to do is I'm going to keep mentioning Demolition Man. So when we finally get Demolition Man streaming somewhere, everyone's going to be like, oh my God, Demolition Man equals Cinefanatics. We want to hop on the Patreon and see that one.
I don't know why you're so dead set on Demolition Man.
Because that one's
Of
going to
all
be...
the movies.
I have a lot of fun watching that movie
It's going to
by
be great.
myself.
It's going to be great, guys, because what's going to happen is halfway through the movie, he's going to actually demonstrate how to use the 3 seashells.
Oh, yeah. Graphically and up close.
So that's right. If you're listening on audio, we don't do movie watch-alongs on audio because it's on our Patreon. It's on video. So you're going to want to head over to our Patreon and actually check out him. You'll see it.
I'm pretty sure the audio of that was going to be like,
Please stop. Please. Oh God, you need to stop that right now. You need to stop all of that right this instant.
Got to get that last one in.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, yeah, we need to come up with the movie for this month. I don't know if we want to do come up with 5 of them and then just drop it in a poll on the Patreon, or if we want to just decide one.
So I know that Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure is streaming somewhere, and that was supposedly coming up, the third one, in the theater pretty soon.
No, it's not.
We will probably get into this kind of a subject in a little while.
It's
but
not coming.
Yeah, it's probably not coming. Yeah, whatever.
Anyway.
Yeah, we'll talk about that some more in a little bit.
Dead air. Good job.
Yeah. Let me see. What else do we need to cover? Okay. I think that covers the opening. How's your week been? He says inquisitively while sipping his unsweetened tea because he's a rebel.
You're a freaking weirdo.
I don't know. For some reason, I've been on an unsweetened tea kick lately.
Why did?
First of all, because
hold
it's
the
0
freaking
calories.
Phone, y'all. The heck are you doing? Drinking unsweet tea in mother flippin' Texas.
Saving some calories.
You are a disgrace.
I know.
You were born in the North, weren't you?
I was.
You were.
I was.
Get the heck out of my state.
Why you're asking that, and you very well know. You are the first member of this actual family.
Because I want you to out loud admit it.
Publicly shame me?
Publicly shaming you because you're drinking unsweet tea and we live in Texas. What's wrong with...
I think I feel pretty safe knowing that we got 10 people watching right now with 10 likes. Fantastic, y'all. Good job. The 10 people watching right now are probably not going to use like this kind of information to steal my identity. I was born in Idaho. Like, you can understand my love for potatoes, but
Look, we've got 2 unlikes now.
yeah,
We've got 2 dislikes now because you
Did
drink
hit
unsweet tea.
dislike.
I can neither confirm nor deny that one of those is me.
You hit dislike on our own video.
I'm confused as to who the other person is because they had the same joke as I did, apparently.
Yeah. Anyways, now we switch back to 10 likes, but we still have 1 dislike. Oh,
Wait,
I'm sorry.
I'm at 9 likes and 2 dislikes. What the heck?
I don't know.
There we go. Let's
So
fix it.
I was
We're
born
good.
in Idaho, but I got here as fast as my parents would get
Son,
me
only
here.
2 things come from Idaho.
Potatoes and potatoes.
Potatoes and your potato face.
Well, that's true.
Alex asks, who disliked these 2 amazing people?
That's not what she said. She said who the...
Hey.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Alex, for
Watch your mouth.
saying what needs to be said in those key moments.
Anyways, one of them was me. I disliked myself. That's called self-deprecating humor, guys.
Yeah.
We're going to get better at that.
One thing else I wanted to... I just now remembered. If any of y'all who are watching this, especially y'all watching this live right now, we have noticed when going back and rewatching the tagline episodes, at least from a couple of our devices, a couple of our computers that we're watching it from.
Really just our desktops and our laptops.
Yeah, which are Mac, our desktop laptops, they're all Mac computers. There is a delay between, well, you know what delay means. Between the mouth moving and you hearing it. The audio people, they see everything perfectly fine. But
There was a delay.
yeah, it's like an old Godzilla movie. Just that's the way they were.
Oh, Godzilla.
Yeah. Anyways, there's a lot of from what we're able to see, at least on those devices. Like my phone, I don't see a delay at all. But
Yeah.
on some devices, I'm noticing there's a delay. Are you seeing a delay right now, live, as this is airing? Is there any kind of a delay, or is this playing exactly how it looks on my mouth moving?
Exactly how it looks. Don't throw them off. You're messing it up. Exactly how it looks on your mouth moving.
Sure.
You sentence just the best.
I sentence awesomely.
Why use many word when few word do trick?
Yeah, exactly.
I love that office joke.
Yeah. So yeah, I kind of want to get that feedback. Those of y'all in the chat, love the feedback that y'all are able to give us. And already we've got a lot of people already hanging out in the chat. First of all, right off the bat, thank you all for being in our chat and helping to support us. That's what's going to help grow this channel. I know Christian Harloff on the Schmodown page earlier today put down like what is your after show podcast. Unfortunately, it was limited to only 1 vote.
Yep.
So to those of you who voted for us, thank you. To those of you who voted for someone else but still dropped our name in the comments down below, thank you for that as well. I know like with us, there's a lot of y'all. I say y'all because I know that our chat is primarily filled with a lot of Schmodown fans.
You also say y'all because we're from Texas.
Yeah, well, because I'm from
Why
Texas.
do you drink unsweet tea?
Oh, shut up. I know a lot of y'all also are either a part of like another Schmodown related podcast or another YouTube channel that if you were able to, you would vote for like everyone. We would all vote for like everyone because there's a lot of good channels out there
We
right now.
love each other.
We absolutely do. And it's great the support that the Schmodown community has.
And Brian Nussbaum's the true hero there, dropping our name into the poll.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, was he the one that put it on there?
Yeah.
I saw it earlier. Here's the thing. As much as an egomaniac as I am, I'm not the type of person that's like, I'm going to put my own name on the poll. I don't want to do that. So, Brian, thank you for doing that very much. Thank you, sir.
I'm also not voting for myself in any of these polls ever
Yeah,
again.
I don't vote for myself on them either.
I might have done it before. I don't really remember, but I'm not doing it ever again.
And I do want to quickly mention, just because we're not, no offense. I mean, we can see who all like is voting for each person for the most part.
We're really spending a lot of time on this.
Yeah, no offense. If you're voting for yourself, cool, do it. That absolutely no problem. I just don't want to do it, but
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with it.
I think we've been doing this for long enough now that I like utilizing whatever platform we have within the community now to actually highlight those who are also coming up and are where we were at, 2 years ago or something now?
Mm-hmm.
Good Lord, it's been that long.
Everyone's saying that, like, I got Pardis is saying no delay.
Yeah, everyone's saying we're good.
Let's get ready to talk Schmodown. Whichever one of those guys that is, probably Shug.
It's usually Shug.
They're saying look good, guys. So yeah, I mean we're not.
Yep,
no delay.
All
That's
right,
fantastic.
We're good.
So yeah, how was the rest of your week, or whatever else you want to talk about, real quick?
Yeah. So real quick, that is one thing that we are actually wanting to highlight real quick because that's a little bit of a Schmodown talk. We're not going to be doing so much of that anymore on the tagline. This show is now going to be strictly, primarily movie speak, movie talk, movie like news, fun and games, fun and chatting with you guys in the chat, kind of like talking about fun stuff with y'all. Schmodown stuff we are going to now be putting towards our live reactions that we're about to start doing, which is really interesting because what's going to happen is, and I'm saying this now, we might actually, I don't know, we might do something different a little bit later because of these pay-per-view matches coming up. We have to pre-record those, but we're going to be doing live reactions starting with the semifinals in Schmodown this Thursday.
2 days.
And we have the one and only Eric Rodriguez, Nerd Chronic, editor of the Schmodown, who's going to be jumping in there and hanging out with us during that. Hopefully he can give us a little bit of fun insight behind on the match and everything, maybe while he was editing it and all sorts of stuff. So that's going to be fun.
Basically, the idea behind this is we're revamping reactions. Instead of, I think, well, we have spent enough time doing just the two of us sitting on the couch and
the two of us.
Yeah, and giving our thoughts, feelings, and opinions.
We can react to it if we try.
And I think while that was a good setup, that was like, again, that was the OG way of reacting, because that's what Late to the Party also started doing.
And the new normal is we're all doing everything virtually now.
The new normal is we're doing everything virtually. But
I hate that phrase, by the way. The new normal.
Yeah,
it's temporary. Everything is temporary.
Yeah. Well,
long temporary, but it's a temporary.
This is going to become our new normal for reactions, with the exception of certain ones, like you're saying, these pay-per-view matches that are coming.
The way the pay-per-view matches are dropping,
we can't do those live.
We want to watch them, and we don't want to wait till they pop up on public on Facebook, or not Facebook, on YouTube, because the information from those matches is going to get out before then.
Yeah.
And it would ruin the reaction.
So we're going to start doing live reactions where we can interact with the chat. Chat can play along as well. And what we're aiming for with these live reactions is we're going to have a guest reacting with us.
As much as possible.
As much as possible. What we've got coming up, the singles tournament, where we have like 4 matches a week. I don't know if that's going to be feasible to get a guest on there, depending on how the actual format for that is.
Right now, we're waiting to see if it's actually like 4 videos a week or if they're doing 2. I imagine that they're going to be doing 2 videos because they have to put one up for Patreon, and then one will drop like normal. That being said, if it's 2 matches per video, that's a 2-hour video, and there's not a whole lot of time to really like break down anything with a guest. So we'll have to see how that all plays out. For the first couple of weeks of the singles tournament, it might still just be the 2 of us, just because that's how it is. Outside of that, though, we do plan on trying to get guests as much as possible. That might mean a Schmodown personality of some sort. That might mean some people who might end up being in the Schmodown at some point. Or that might be someone from other after shows who we want to highlight and kind of help show off their show and everything too.
Yeah, I don't want to, and I don't mean to make this sound bad, because no judgment at all whatsoever. But like I want to be able to put other people on besides just like Schmodown personalities. So whether you run like another movie YouTube channel,
I don't know why you thought that would sound bad.
Or because there's some that like a lot of it they get a lot of guests that are primarily Schmodown people on there. Which some of them I understand the reason why. Again, nothing bad about that. Not judging at all whatsoever. Just I want to expand. I want to have more people who are interested in movies. Potentially, here's the idea with it, actually, is get people who every once in a while may not necessarily be Schmodown related, just because it may help bring more people in. We had was a couple of weeks ago or a month ago or so, I don't know.
However long ago it was. Time is a construct.
We had Sean Chandler on this very show. He's a very popular person in the YouTube movie content frame, which we'll talk about YouTube movie channels again.
I'm starting to find your catchphrase. I'm going to bring up something that we're going to talk about later.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah. But we had him on because
Ample opportunity to segue, and we never do it.
He talks about movies, and he's going to be a future contestant on Schmodown. So he's not a Schmodown personality yet.
There's a very good chance he'll be entered into the draft just because we've publicly seen a conversation between him and Christian on Twitter.
Yeah. But that's where I want to like start reaching out for is like get some Schmodown people to talk about Schmodown matches, but also get like some fans or other people doing podcasts and stuff.
That's right. We might get some actual fans too. I don't know. There's ample opportunity to do a lot of fun stuff with our reactions.
Might be a Patreon. I don't know.
We haven't talked about that.
I'm throwing out ideas live.
Anyway, yeah, please don't. Oops. People are gonna start expecting things that I'm gonna be like, nope, we're not doing that. Anyway, yeah, there's gonna be a lot of fun stuff with those. There's gonna be like we said, it's a complete format change. There's gonna be some reacting, but there's probably gonna be like some pausing and stopping and kind of analyzing some of the game. There's gonna be a lot of fun stuff. I don't know if we're gonna like dive deep into that kind of stuff with our first one with Eric, because we're gonna be doing like the end of this Inner Geekdom tournament as kind of like the trial test run for it.
Yeah.
And then once we really dive into it during the singles tournament, once we actually move forward completely with it, we're gonna have like a title for it, an actual name for that type of after show. And
I want to start working on like a video graphic to start it, a video graphic to end it. I want to make this look like an actual show, and that's what's going to happen. This is going to happen with the tagline too. It's probably going to happen with the tagline first. We already got like our intro with that little video and stuff. I'm gonna start working on more than just that. So you're seeing this channel grow right before your very eyes.
Yeah, so what that means is, and I put this up on the Facebook group earlier, if you are somebody who is looking at all the after shows and your eyes are not on Cinefanatics right now, you are going to be severely missing out on all the great stuff we've got planned coming up.
Yeah. Real quick,
but you're all here right now, so you guys aren't who I'm talking about.
No. Go back real quick, and we have a super chat from MovieFanobi saying, my condolences on your video chronic quiz loss, younger Adams. You have tasted the defeat of older Adams. Yeah, I've been defeated on video chronic quizzes.
Thanks, MovieFanobi. He's
just now got over that.
Just now trying to get over that.
So that's what you get for putting Shut
up
back in people's heads.
Shut up. Listen here, Steve. Just kidding. Just kidding. Yeah, no. That one was rough because I watched. So they're doing the Christmas in July quizzes over there on Video Drew's channel, which is hilarious to me.
Which they should do Die Hard, because that actually, that thing that came out in June, but close enough.
That's not a bag I want to open right now. Anyway, they did the quiz on Santa Claus, which is my favorite Christmas movie. That's the one I typically try to watch every single year.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that movie pretty dang well because I've been watching it every single year since 1994. So you're looking at somebody who thought they would do pretty well in that quiz. As it turns out, what was my folly for that was
everybody thought they would do pretty well in that quiz.
No, it's not even like everybody else. Everybody else was nailing it just as well. The problem is that I didn't put down the thing that was in my head, and I should have because it was the correct answer. And then, on top of that, I didn't ask for the multiple choice. Should have. These are just your common rookie mistakes. I'm glad I'm getting them out of the way, though, with the Video Chronic quizzes, because that's not something that you can play with in the big leagues of the Schmodown. So.
No.
Hey, it is what it is. We all got to take our losses every now and then.
That's what's going to help being a team, is that you have a team member who's going to be sitting there like, hey, you should go to multiple choice.
I'm just glad if I lose, I only lose by a couple points.
Yeah. So, how was the rest of your week? We're still stuck on the personal topic here.
It was okay.
Oh.
Not a whole lot to really talk about there. We're still living in a pandemic for some reason. I don't understand why.
It hasn't been solved yet?
No. Fortunately, it's still a thing.
Oh, okay.
It sounds like it's going to be a thing for the rest of the year. And there's your downer note, everybody. I'm so sorry.
Wow.
Anyway. Yeah, so there's not been a whole lot. It's just the constant grind of trying to maintain and keep hope alive right now, keep optimistic, and since I do grocery delivery, there's at least 5 days of the week that I'm just whatever. I'm burning all the energies trying to make sure that people can still eat, I guess. I'm such a good person.
Good job. Way to feeding America one delivery at a time.
Look, I'm just trying to pay rent.
Oh, okay. So I got a set of weights that I used to own. I got them back and just started like working out, lifting weights again. Oh my gosh. Here's a little tip for those of y'all that are interested in lifting weights.
A little what?
Little tip.
Oh, tip.
What'd you think? What? Anyways, if you start lifting weights, don't stop. Believing, yes, I know. Don't stop lifting weights, because when you stop for a couple of years and then start lifting,
you're talking about longevity. You're talking about longevity. Okay, I was like, no, you probably do want to stop at some point.
Well, yeah, I don't mean like start lifting weights and just continue doing reps the whole time. Yeah, that's insane. But yeah, don't ever give it up, because it's much harder to get back to where you want to be or where you should be or where you used to be or whatever.
So you just look at that weight and go, never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down.
We got this Rickrolled like over 10 years after Rickrolling was a thing.
Why do we have a channel?
Anyway, so yeah, really sore and hurting. Luckily, all I got to do for this is just sit right here. So fantastic.
Yeah, and your arms are still floppy as mess right now.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. I should definitely start working out as well, but hey, I'm just trying to get up at a decent hour at this point.
Yeah.
Trying to get back into some kind of a normal life schedule. It's so difficult.
Mm-hmm. Have you watched anything new this past week?
Yes and no.
Or a really good rewatch?
I've done actually a couple of rewatches, and then I made it halfway through something new.
Yeah.
Let's cover the rewatches real quick. I, for some reason, decided to actually rewatch Hamilton, not all in one sitting. It's over the course of a couple different sittings that I ended up rewatching it. But I ended up rewatching it with the subtitles on, which I heard was recommended. Oh, so much better. And I already liked it. But you can actually understand everything that they're saying. Those parts where they're like rapping really quickly or something, you're able to catch what it is they're saying. Oh, yeah. It put the whole thing in a much better perspective. So if you've seen it and you haven't seen it with the subtitles, I recommend doing it with the subtitles. Makes it a lot better.
I might try that in the future.
The other rewatch was Under the Red Hood. Nice little DC animated Batman. That hit HBO Max, and I was waiting for it to, because that's one of the first things I looked for when we had HBO Max, because they had all these different animated Batman movies, and I was like, do they have Under the Red Hood?
We'll talk about HBO Max some more later.
Oh my god. I hate you. Anyway, I was looking for Under the Red Hood when we got HBO Max to begin with, and it wasn't there, so I was like, oh man. And then I was just scrolling through trying to find something to watch, and it popped up, and I was like, oh, there it is. There's my decision for what to watch tonight. Rewatch that. Luckily, it's not that long, so it doesn't take up that much time. But the one that I started watching, and this is where I'm going to catch all of the flack, because this was one of the most beloved movies of last year.
Mm-hmm.
Last year? Last year. Yeah, it was last year.
Yeah, because I believe it was...
Time is a construct.
Yeah, because we were... It played at South by. Yep. We had the opportunity
just
to
drop it right there. Cool.
Just
spill all the beans.
Well, we had the opportunity to go to the premiere. We didn't, because there was a lot of stuff to do, but...
I started watching Booksmart. I got about halfway into it. Here's the thing. Before you all jump down my throat and start beating me up from the inside out, I guess that's how that works. It turns out I'm probably not that big of a fan of coming-of-age stories. Of almost any kind. Lady Bird was pretty good. I liked Lady Bird. That's about the only one that I typically have that opinion about, though.
Which is funny, because I wasn't a big Lady Bird fan, but...
I think we were both on the same page. It was, it's a good story. I liked what was happening. Saoirse Ronan's great. But Booksmart, here's the thing about Booksmart. Halfway through, I am going to finish it. I'm going to finish watching it, because it's not Love Guru. I don't just give up on it and then not tune back in, or Zoolander 2. Either one of those. It's very cleverly written. I really enjoy the writing in this movie. I do. I really enjoy Beanie Feldstein. She's going places. She's going to be a superstar.
Mm-hmm.
she's got some fantastic chops, both for comedy and for dramatic. All that.
Yeah.
The thing of it is, though, is that I get lost in these coming of age stories where it's like, give me something to tune into, give me something to connect with me on. For some reason I don't connect with coming of age stories, and I don't know why. I've had this problem before, like Boyhood bored me. I was like falling asleep all throughout Boyhood, and I felt like it was way too long, which, to be fair, it was shot over the course of 12 years, so of course it was going to be a long movie.
Yeah. Here in Austin, Texas, I actually ran into the boy at like HEB one day. Like,
yeah.
He was standing in front of me at the checkout line. I was like, ha, this is what you look like 12 years later.
That's a nice, relevant story.
Yeah.
The other one, and the one that I get hate on for living in Austin, is Dazed and Confused is not my cup of tea.
God. Dazed and Confused is so good.
Dazed and Confused is a coming of age story.
Oh, it's so good. I love Dazed and Confused. Oh.
I understand why people love it. It is very relatable for a lot of people. I just don't connect with coming of age stories for some reason. Therefore, as a genre, it does not hit me the same way as it does other people.
All right, so thumbs up in the chat if you agree. Should he be forced to change his last name because Dazed and Confused is so good? Oh, such a good movie.
Here's the thing: I'm not opposed to that because Adams is a plain last name.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's so. Here's the thing: like, I'm not saying that I'm not saying these movies are bad movies by any stretch of the means. They're just a genre that just doesn't connect with me.
Yeah.
Again, I will be finishing Booksmart because I want to give it its proper due and watch the entire thing. It's not a bad movie, just like Love Guru and Zoolander 2 are bad movies that I never finished and will never finish. Because I feel like I want to remain intelligent.
There's movies I would say that I gave an honest shot to. Like, I know right off the bat, the recent Little Women. I tried watching it, was very interested in seeing it. Watched it, just wasn't a fan. And that's a movie that has a ton of critical acclaim, and I understand why. The technical stuff of it, the acting of it, I absolutely love. It just was not. It wasn't my cup of unsweetened tea.
Listen here again, Steve. So that's because you're still coming of age, Chris.
I mean, that's a true statement right there.
I'm 30. I'm about to be 31 next month.
Oh, is that really coming again?
Is next month August?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Ugh.
Yeah, so, I mean, I'm coming of age if we're talking about the age that you're coming to is in your 50s or 60s or 70s. Yeah, I'm still coming to that age. I'm an adult.
Yeah.
I do adult things, guys.
Yeah. As for me, I rewatched Yesterday. That movie where the dude gets in an accident, wakes up, and there's no Beatles.
That is still one I need to see.
That is a fantastic... I love that movie. That is such a good movie. I think it was very, very underrated when it came out, but the thing is, it was released during the summer. I think it may have had a better shot if it was released closer to the Oscar season.
Maybe.
But it was released during the summer, and it kind of just flew under the radar for a lot of them because it kind of got trampled by summer blockbusters. But
what are those?
Yeah. The things that movies that are supposed to come out during the summer, they're supposed to cause everyone to go to the theater. Theater is a big place where you watch.
What's a theater?
Yeah, it's a big room where you watch a movie in. Anyways, we'll talk about that later. Yesterday was fantastic. I love that movie. If you haven't seen Yesterday, I highly recommend it because it's so good.
If you haven't seen Yesterday, go ahead and watch it tomorrow.
Yeah. Good job. And then the other one I watched, there was only one movie I saw for the first time this past week, and that was They Came Together. Just the best name. First of all, I did not know that this movie existed. This movie is, was it Paul Rudd and...
Leslie Mann.
Amy Poehler.
Amy Poehler.
As Paul Rudd and Amy Poehler.
I was thinking for whatever... This is
40.
This is 40, yeah.
It's kind of a parody of rom-coms, and it's heavily based off of parodying You've Got Mail, where they own rival companies. One's the big corporate company, the other one's the small one. And they just fly through like the rom-com tropes of it. The thing, it's a parody movie, but it's not as off the wall as like a Mel Brooks or like the Zucker brothers, like Airplane.
Zucker Brothers.
Nice. Not Zuckerberg. It's not
Marky Mark and the Zucker Bunch.
Yeah. It's not off the wall like those movies.
I cracked myself up.
There's a few light things in there that you really have to suspend disbelief for, but otherwise it plays pretty straight, just making sure it hits certain rom-com stereotypical beats. It was really good. I actually really enjoyed it. So that was a good one I recommend as well. I believe that covers. Let's check out the chat real quick. Anyone saying anything? People are saying things in the chat.
People are saying things in the chat. That's what you do in a chat.
That's what they do in a chat, right?
You chat.
Yeah.
You chat in a chat.
Oh, fantastic. Good job chatting, people. Y'all are masters at this chatting thing. Anyways, anything else you want to add before we move on?
We'll work on your ability to do things on live. No, there's not so much more to add on there. There's other things that I'll probably want to watch before next week. I want to maybe dive into something new. I know I'm spending a lot of time also still like going through my rewatch of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air because it's available and I haven't done that in years and I've been quite enjoying it. I've found out that that's a comedy that I actually laugh out loud by myself, and that's always a good sign of a comedy TV show when you can laugh out loud by yourself at it. So for having seen the entire series before, I think that's a great sign, and I really do enjoy that show.
Yeah.
Still watching it. But anyway, this isn't TV Fanatics. This is Cinefanatics, and we've got some Cinefun news.
Someone feel free to start TV Fanatics, but
we got Cinefun news.
We do?
That just rolled right over your head, didn't it?
It's Cinefun news, yeah.
First off, let's start with something that's a little bit on a downer note. We didn't talk about this before, but I remember just now that I wanted to bring this up. This is the anniversary of the passing of Robin Williams today.
Oh.
Yeah, and that... Oof. He is somebody that I greatly, greatly miss in terms of just like all the gifts that he brought to moviedom, cinema, everything, his stand-up comedy, all of that. That man was amazingly talented in terms of comedy, and I don't think we'll ever see anyone the likes of him ever again.
You'll be very hard-pressed to find another Robin Williams.
Yeah. The crazy thing, though, is it's been 6 years. It's been 6 years now.
Jeez. I know, like, yesterday, not to get off subject of Robin Williams, but yesterday, while working on, like, the thumbnail for this video, I was watching or listening.
Oh, it's his birthday. Excuse me. Oh, I'm so sorry. It's apparently his birthday. It's almost 6 years since his passing, though, because that was, I think, next month, actually, now that I think about it.
Yesterday, while working on graphics and stuff, I was listening to the tribute concert that Linkin Park put on after Chester Bennington's passing. Yesterday is the 3-year anniversary of his passing, and like I'm gonna mention Chester because he was in movies before, not the highest profile of movies.
Don't try to excuse yourself here.
He was in like the 2 Crank movies, and I believe he was in Saw 7 or Saw 3D. Yeah. Anyways, but really good musician, and so was listening to that as well. But yeah, Robin Williams. I don't know. I feel
thanks for going in that direction.
That was weird.
Anyway, yeah. So apparently it's his birthday today. So yeah, that's just a huge thing. Like we're coming up on 6 years since his passing. I remember it directly because 2014 was the first year that I went to LA, and I remember seeing like Guardians of the Galaxy at the Chinese theater and just the whole big thing. And then right when like we got back from that trip, me and the people I was with, we got back from that trip, we find out that Robin Williams passed away, and that was just like absolutely devastating because it's like here is in my time somebody that I knew as one of the like A-list greats in terms of comedy movies, everything. And he's not someone I think I'm ever gonna forget. Like every year, his date of passing is gonna come around, and I'm gonna be like, man, I miss that guy. Because you got to think about like he'd be like around 60 plus, somewhere around there. It's at this point, and I'm just trying to think of like what more could he have brought to this world in that given period of time. Considering everything that's happened in the world since then, I just think like there's just so much more that we could have had from him. he just passed away at such a young age. But that is the way life goes, and that really plays into the whole like mental health aspect of things. Like if you're thinking any sort of way ever, you got to reach out to people. I know, like, you may not feel like it. You've got to reach out to people, talk to people. And I didn't necessarily mean to go down this trail, but I know people in the chat. There's a bunch of us around this community who are open and willing to talk to people who need talk. If it means you get to live and breathe to see tomorrow, you've got to reach out to people who are willing to listen to you. Yeah. And we're all around. So
you've seen I deal with depression a lot. In fact, that's most of the reason why you don't possibly see me quite as active on social media. Is just I can't just pick up the phone and start doing that. Yeah. Every once in a while I'll get spurts or whatever, but I am taking like a week off from work pretty soon, so I feel like I'm going to increase my presence on social media during that week and hopefully get some stuff done. But yeah, I deal with that crippling depression where you just don't want to do anything. I deal with that a lot. And it's definitely something I feel like that we need to have more people talking about, more getting out there, mental health and stuff. So yeah, there's a lot of people like Robin Williams. Again, I just mentioned Chester. Same thing.
Yeah.
Get that out there. Make sure you find someone to talk to. There's always going to be someone somewhere who you can talk to. Yeah. So this is a pretty big community as far as, again, mentioning the people who are involved with the Schmodown, which again is most of the people in the chat.
Yeah.
Pretty big community. Just post it out there. Just let someone know you want to talk to them. Someone will talk to you. If I see it, I'll talk to you.
Yep.
So.
Oh, so PC said he was going to be 69. That's right. He was going to be 69 years old today, and his daughter is donating $69.69 to a bunch of different charities. Nice.
Fantastic.
So yeah,
that's what Robin Williams would do.
Probably is, actually.
Donate $69. Yeah,
it probably is. Anyway, I just want to mention that. Just highlight such a great man that we miss so dearly now. But there's other stuff that's going on too. So what else?
Real quick, MovieFanobi says that he's taking off. I want to quickly mention, hopefully before he actually kicks off, that he dropped Streamlabs in there for us. Someone said to toss a coin to your Adams or to your. I'm pretty sure you meant to say Witcher.
Yeah.
Or your Witcher or something. I'm gonna guess that's a Witcher reference.
We're gonna say Witcher.
I don't know what Witcher that is. Okay.
It's from The Witcher.
Oh, well, that explains it.
Yeah.
Good job. Thank you, MovieFanobi, for that.
That's a show on, I believe, Netflix starring Superman.
Yeah, starring Superman. So other movie news that has happened. Apparently, James Bond got pushed back.
Aww.
Again?
It's supposed to come out in November, though.
Yeah. So I believe I saw somewhere that got pushed back, but I saw it in passing, didn't click on it and read the article more. But the other big one was Tenet. Tenet has been pushed back, and this time it's been pushed back indefinitely. There is no date that it's set for.
Wait, hold on. Quick. Let me put on my surprised face.
Yeah. To those of y'all listening on the podcast, he is just not doing anything at all. He's just looking at the camera with a blank stare. That would be his surprise face.
This is my happy face.
Wait till his wedding night. That's going to be a great surprise face.
Are you kidding me? Really? You thought that was a funny joke?
Yeah. It was
Move
on. So Tenet got pushed back. Who knows when that's going to come out?
Next year at this point.
Possibly. But I mean, here's the thing. Like, now that leaves Mulan is still sitting at its date. I'm pretty sure that's going to move. There's a lot. I have a feeling that this is probably...
Name another movie.
No, I don't want to.
Wonder Woman, next year at some point.
Yeah. This is probably like the precipice that we're about to start getting into the form of topic where all movies are going to be pushed back to next year.
Black Widow, next year at some point.
Well, that's Marvel. More than likely what Marvel's going to do is what they did before, and they're going to shift all the dates. So now Black Widow will take where Eternals is right now.
The year of 2020 stopped at Bloodshot.
Yeah.
unfortunately, and did not continue. This is going to be the craziest year in terms of legitimately everything that we do in the movie industry, as far as awards and everything. Like, they might have to cancel the Oscars completely at this point, just because they're not going to have any movies released for it.
And Best Picture goes to Sonic the Hedgehog. Hey!
No, it'd be the way back at this point.
Well, actually, probably. With the honorable mention to, like, Bloodshot.
No. Dishonorable mention.
Yeah. Well, that's going to be bad for the Razzies, because then this might be the year where the Razzies actually chooses, like, a good movie to win. Like, the complete opposite of that.
Yeah, so the awards ceremony we finally get this time that everyone's eyes will be on will be the Razzies, because every movie that came out in 2020 will be up for that award.
Pretty much.
Except for The Way Back and Bad Boys for Life.
Yeah. They're going to be like, wow, the worst movie of the year was Sonic the Hedgehog? No, that movie actually was pretty decent. This is going to be the first time the Razzies going to be like, I don't know if we could do this one.
Bloodshot.
It's all going to be Bloodshot.
Does Cats count? No, Cats was last year.
No, yeah, Cats was December.
Can we count it again?
Nah, I mean, we should.
Anyway.
The Butthole Cut came out this year, technically.
Did it? Did that actually come out?
No, well, I mean, the fan edit did.
Okay. Well, so that's the thing, is we're looking at a situation right now where all of these movies are that were supposed to come out this year just probably aren't going to at this point. I am getting closer and closer to the thought of movie theaters aren't going to be opening back up again this year.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, because we talk about this, but we also need to understand that there are countries in the world right now where they're not having a problem with the virus anymore. They're not having these issues. It's, for the most part, it's not completely gone in a lot of these places, but it's subdued so much that it's not a worry anymore. Those places are able to open their theaters back up, and the major chains like AMC and Cinemark, I'm guessing they're international markets, they're going to be able to open those back up, which I think is actually what would save those theater chains, to be honest. Because if they relied strictly on domestic box offices to save those chains.
Yeah, problem with that.
But yeah, the problem with that
especially
is
with Tenet,
most of the movies that would hit those theaters come from the United States of America. And guess what's not happening in the United States of America?
Movies being released.
Life like normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're probably not going to get movies releasing because none of the theaters are going to be opening, because we're still having issues in quite a few states.
So what that means for like Tenet problem is that it's going to be released overseas technically first.
Tenet, yeah.
And that leaves it susceptible for piracy.
That's
very strong piracy, because a lot of people want to see that.
That's the major concern, yeah.
You have your supply and demand. There's a huge demand in America to see Tenet right now. It was supposed to be out this past weekend originally.
Yeah.
And so there's a huge demand for it. There's no supply. When that happens, when someone gets a little bit of supply, price goes up. Business 101 right there. So yeah, piracy will be huge on that movie. The other one is spoilers. We still do not know anything about Tenet. In fact, again, Tenet was supposed to come out this past weekend, and we probably still would not know anything about Tenet.
Yeah, I have no clue what's happening in that movie. I just know I want to see it.
So the thing is, if they release that movie overseas, that's going to leave the World Wide Web open to people going, man, it's so cool that the protagonist guy was blah, 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 blah the entire time, or the movie was blah, 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 blah the whole time, or blah, 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 blah.
This thing is happening, and that thing was happening.
Yeah, and we're going to be like, well, geez, y'all.
The lead in the movie was the son of Denzel Washington the entire time. What?
Whoa, that's mind-blowing. If that one's true,
yeah, I know,
that would be amazing.
That would trip a lot of people up.
That's a Christopher Nolan type level.
Luckily, I was just spitballing there. I'm not. It's not confirmed, guys. It's not confirmed.
Oof. I was about to say spoilers.
That would be awfully silly.
That would be awfully silly, but that would still be pretty cool looking. You okay?
Yeah. So anyway, they're gonna have probably a staggered release now at this point, which honestly I understand for studios. they've got to start pulling their money back in so they can continue making movies and having more movies ready, say, come the latter half of 2021 going into 2022 at this point. That's just the business. That's the way it works. All of the studios are losing a ton of cash right now, which understandably they probably all have a solid savings, in terms of those businesses and everything and how they structure things. But for the most part, they also were expecting to make millions and millions of dollars going through this entire year, and they're not.
Yeah. And that's the problem with movies, because movies are made completely based on the idea like, hey, we can make it for this amount. It's going to have this kind of a return on investment, basically. And that's not happening. That's not going to happen. It's kaputs. So...
Nice word.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can't say certain words, so I'm trying to...
It's kaputs.
It's gone completely to... Oh, okay. So... yeah, like another one that has had this ordeal running with it is New Mutants. Oh my gosh. That I don't think we've ever seen a movie get pushed back so much as that movie. That poor movie. All those people, all the people that involved in making that movie, all they want to do is see their movie get seen. And who knows? The thing,
I mean, it's so unfortunate that Anya Taylor-Joy is 60 years old now.
Yeah, I
and
know.
her movie still hasn't come
At
out
this
yet.
Point. Remember when she looked like that? The thing is today's Tuesday. In 2 days, they're doing the Comic-Con at home.
On Thursday. Yes, I think it's technically starting tomorrow, but Thursday is the panel for...
They're doing a panel for New Mutants. Which at this point, I would expect the panel for New Mutants to get delayed. But... I guess they're going to go forward with this. Strong rumors right now are that at this panel they're going to announce, we decided to give up and just send it to streaming.
Which at this point for that particular movie, I think that would be the right call. I mean, for most of these movies, yes, there is still a great audience that wants to see them in theaters. Tenet, I want to see that in theaters. Wonder Woman 84, want to see that in theaters. Bond,
see New Mutants,
Top Gun Maverick, all these movies I want to see in theaters. I don't want to see them on streaming.
Yeah.
New Mutants, just give it to me now. Honestly, just put it on Disney Plus. If it's, I can't remember what rating they're going with. If it's PG-13, throw it on Disney Plus, or Hulu, whatever. I don't care. Throw it up on one of those streaming sites and let's see it now.
So a couple of things with that. One, apparently, and I didn't see it, but I guess it got released today. There was like a fan-made ad that was saying that it's going on Disney Plus
in September.
Which that was completely fake. The thing is apparently there's still some kind of deal. I guess Fox had a deal with like HBO or something that the X-Men movies have to go to HBO first. And by Disney purchasing Fox, they still have to honor that original deal. So therefore, it's more likely that New Mutants would probably go straight to HBO Max.
That's weird. What I could actually see them doing, honestly, is that I could see them dropping it on a video on demand, which would not require that deal to go through. You drop it on video on demand to where, say like the Trolls World Tour and all those, or if you want to see it, you pay for it. You pay the $20 or whatever to watch it.
Oh, people will do that.
Yeah, and so that's where they can try to recuperate. I say recuperate. Disney didn't spend any money on this movie specifically. That's where they can bring in some of the funds that movie should have brought in. And they can do that and then wait for that deal to go up, which I don't know. I don't know if that deal goes up like at the end of the year or how long that deal is supposed to be set for.
Pardis is saying in the chat that like the deal is until 2022 for all new Fox movies. That's why Ford versus Ferrari is on HBO Max currently. Which, if you haven't seen that was a fantastic movie too.
Yeah, it was really good. I was actually considering rewatching that the other night before I found Red Hood.
Yeah. But yeah, possibly something like that. I would agree with that because if I remember correctly, they released Scoob, that Scooby-Doo animated cartoon.
Yeah, exactly.
They released it on demand first, and then it was like 6 weeks later it popped up on HBO Max, which is also not that bad of a movie to watch. I mean, kind of cheesy in some places, but it was actually really good.
So, I mean, yeah, you're looking at, I think what would be wise for them, again, considering Disney as a studio did not spend any money on New Mutants specifically, they only spent the money on acquiring Fox. that would be any money that movie makes is just pure profit for Disney.
Yeah.
Or goes into maybe recuperating some of the funds that they spent on Fox in general. But if it had a theatrical release, then yeah, it would definitely play into that a little bit more. But if it goes directly to a streaming service, then it doesn't necessarily recuperate those funds, because then it's like, okay, well, now we have to divide it amongst new subscribers. Now, if it goes to HBO Max, Disney doesn't see anything. In which case, they didn't spend any money on it. They're not making any money on it.
Which that would kind of suck for them. They need to. They've already bought Fox before this. There was the whole ordeal of that. I think that took a couple of years for them to hash that out.
Yeah.
Now it's been finalized, and like, we would like to make some money off of this Fox property now. Let's throw New Mutants out there.
From an actual narrative standpoint, though, the thing with New Mutants is it's going to be a one and done. I know there was like rumors earlier on that if the movie saw success, that Kevin Feige would be like, yeah, let's go ahead and wrap these guys into the actual MCU. I don't think that's going to happen.
I think there's definitely a possibility, if it turns out to be a good movie, Disney definitely is going to be like, hey, let's push this forward. Let's have a sequel. Let's do something else with these guys.
The question is how do you measure that? And the measure is going to be based on critical response.
Yeah.
I
Who knows where that's at right now?
Yeah. I could be completely wrong. It could be like the best X-Men movie in the entire franchise.
Yeah.
Doubtful. But I don't see the critical response for that movie is going to come out too well.
I was just rewatching a little bit of Dark Phoenix earlier.
Why would you do that?
That was such a waste of movie.
Here's the thing. Wow. That's not even the worst movie in the franchise. That movie was actually okay.
I don't know.
It was way better than it should have been.
Upon rewatch, I'm kind of like,
certain aspects of it.
There's parts of it, like some of the acting is really good.
They could have just done without Mystique in that movie.
Yeah. But there's little parts like her forcing Xavier to walk up the stairs. That's on a creepy level. I would put up that creepy level up there with the spider walk from Exorcist, which is ironic that they both have to deal with stairs. But
something about stairs, guys.
It's just that kind of creepy.
I don't know about that.
Yeah. Well, okay, maybe that one
again.
The one from the Exorcist is iconic.
When I tell you that that's not the worst movie in the franchise, I would like to remind you that X-Men Origins Wolverine and X-Men Apocalypse still exist.
Which I feel like those I can rewatch, and I'm like, okay, these aren't that good, but at least they have some rewatchability to it. I can't this is the second time I've seen Dark Phoenix since watching it in the theaters, and I'm sitting here like, there's no substance to this movie at all. There's no real reason to watch this. Other than a couple of like really good scenes, a couple of like really cool like little ideas that were thrown in.
Yeah.
Otherwise, yeah, no real reason.
I don't know. So, I mean, as far as that goes, if it goes to streaming, then yeah, it looks like it has to go to HBO Max. That's just how it's going to work. In which case, congratulations, HBO Max. You just hooked in a bunch of new subscribers right off the bat for that. If I were them and the option was on the table to do so, I would put it out on video on demand first.
Yeah.
Try to make some money off of it.
If that's up to HBO Max, that might still be up to Disney to throw that out and make the money on that first.
That completely depends on how the deal and the contract works, because I doubt there's a pandemic clause in the contract.
Yeah.
Unless that falls under act of God, which a lot of contracts have an act of God clause of some sort. And then what does that look like? I don't know. Now you're getting into legal stuff. That's beyond me. I'm not legal.
That's beyond the this channel.
We're not law fanatics.
Yeah. We're not legal eagles. Well, that's another YouTube channel. We could talk about that one in a minute.
No. Why?
They cover movie stuff.
Okay.
Anyway, so yeah, it looks like New Mutants at some point. I believe New Mutants is going to be announced probably on demand and then hitting streaming platforms.
It's coming. It's going to happen on Thursday. They're going to say something, I'm sure.
So the thing is, like, with streaming platforms becoming so prevalent now, what are like some that like you feel are really good? What are some of your favorites? And this is where we're gonna start putting it a little towards the chat here. Is there, like, out of all the current streaming platforms that we have, are there any ones that are currently like your favorite? What are your go-to ones? What are the ones that typically are always delivering the type of movies that you're looking for, the type of content that you're wanting? For example,
the other thing real quick is also thinking about the fact that since we're moving into a state of where probably they're not going to get any more movies for the rest of this year, how many of these streaming platforms are actually going to catch some of these movies? Are the studios going to start putting some of these movies because they're just going to try? They have to stay on a schedule of some sort. They've got to try to get these movies out this year because they've got movies coming out next year that they need to promote. I mean, yeah, how does that all look? Because you have your Disney Pluses, your HBO Maxes, your Hulus, and your Amazons that are going to be catching a lot of these big movies should they decide to release them out there. It's going to be really interesting to see if any of the major blockbusters. Yeah, again, like I heard rumor that Disney was actually considering at some point putting Black Widow out onto Disney Plus. Now,
that might be interesting.
I think they might have gone back on that since I heard about it, but I keep hearing rumors flip-flopping back and forth either way. I would rather wait to see that in the theater. I don't necessarily want to see it on Disney Plus. I will if they put it out there, because we have to for the channel. We got to do a review on it. But I would rather wait for the cinematic experience on the vast majority of the movies that were supposed to come out this year.
Yeah, so like I was saying, what are some of the streaming platforms that you like, and what's the reason you like them? For example, HBO Max. HBO Max seems to be one of the biggest ones that really has dived into having more of a classic background. They have a pretty big library in the classic movies.
Yeah.
You don't see a lot of that. A lot of the current ones, they all want to pump out like the current blockbusters, or at least the movies that were big movies, big blockbusters, critical hits. Those are the ones that they know are going to draw subscribers in.
Yeah.
While you get like a lot of people, again, depending on the age type of thing, they might not necessarily subscribe to HBO Max just completely based off of the idea of, hey, there's a bunch of good old classic black and white movies on here. Come watch them. So
that's good for people who grew up like just liking movies in general.
Yeah.
Their parents showed them those old movies. Because if you've got like 75 to 80-year-old Eunice over here who's out there like, yeah, I want to see Casablanca again. Let me just throw up my my HBO Max app on my Roku, which I don't know if that's possible.
Why Eunice?
It's just the first old name that came to my mind. Just roll with it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna throw this up on my app. Like, she doesn't know how to use technology.
As someone who works at a cable store, I can attest. Here's the thing, and kind of a quick diversion, but I feel like this is funny enough. This is something I encounter almost every day. I get like 19-year-olds that come in. They're like, which one's the modem and which one's the router? You don't know. You're 19 years old. You don't know the difference of a modem and a router?
To be fair, I don't know that.
Well, okay. We have them sitting over there. I can point them out to you.
That's fine.
But the key in that is, like, it's a 19-year-old. I remember, like, back when I was a teenager, I knew everything. So I could easily compete in the Schmodown. It would probably be up there with the likes of Dan Murrell and John Roca. And
I've seen you as a teenager.
I knew everything, didn't I?
No.
Oh, of course I did.
Nope.
You didn't know that I knew everything, so because you were younger. So going in, like what PC's saying here, PC's saying the TCM section of HBO Max. Yeah, I think when we first got HBO Max, that was the very first place I went to. I dived straight into TCM.
What classics have I not seen that I need to catch up on?
Yeah, that was exactly where I drifted off to with that.
And I think that's one of the big selling points for HBO Max at this point too, is that they have a solid library of older movies to check out. The other reason, of course, is they've got a lot of like really good DC stuff too. They're almost like fully taking control of the DC universe stuff. I do not, if it's not dead yet, I don't see DC universe lasting as its own thing that much longer. The only thing I think that really sustains it is the fact that you can get comics through it too, not just shows. So it could be interesting to see how that transitions and translates, because I know that HBO Max is getting, like, say, all the first run of Doom Patrol, which that was a DC Universe show. So
That was like the DC equivalent of like X-Men.
something like that.
Yeah.
Their show version of Guardians of the Galaxy kind of a thing.
So like HBO Max, I know is a big one. I know we also really like Amazon Prime. The Amazon Prime Video has been pretty good.
It's coming clutch.
Yeah, in some cases. There's a lot of stuff I pop up on there. Here's what I like now is, especially when having to rewatch movies with all these streaming options. Would you stop shaking the table?
I'm not doing it intentionally. Shut up. Keep talking.
When a movie pops in your head, you're like, I want to watch that movie. All you got to do is just Google the movie, and then when it pops up, like typically Google will pop up like, hey, you're talking about this movie. Here's information about this movie. One of those is like watch movie, and then it shows you like a list of all the streaming networks that have that movie available. Whether you have to pay for it to rent it, or it might have it included with the subscription. That thing is awesome.
Yeah.
So I've been loving that lately because I could just have a wild itch. I watched was it Dave the other night? The Kevin Kline, Sigourney Weaver, fantastic movie. That's another one of those like 90s classics that just really flew under the radar.
Yeah.
I wanted to watch Dave, so I was like, where's Dave playing? And I think it was like on Stars, like Stars on Demand. So I mean, you've got the cable channels too. Here's the thing, and a lot of people probably don't know this. If you are subscribed to any cable channel, you could almost go to all of their websites and sign in. They have like an on-demand website. I know like AMC, for example, has their on-demand. You could sign in. I don't know if you could watch I believe you could probably watch episodes like Walking Dead, but they also have movies on there that you could watch as well. Almost every cable channel that you get through your cable provider, you could sign in with your cable provider login account and watch those on demand.
Yeah. So
all of those are available as well. There's almost an endless supply of streaming content right there with that. The other ones I point out that I feel like are really cool that not many people know about is like Tubi. TUBI, and then Vudu, which I believe Vudu's is VUDO. It's something DOO economics. Voodoo economics. There's Vudu, VUDU. I believe that one. I think that one's owned by Walmart.
Oh,
maybe.
Yeah.
I think.
Why?
I don't know, but Vudu has some stuff in there.
We have the largest grocery store chain in the world. We are the distributor and retailer of so many items for your everyday needs. We are one of the single-handed reasons why Toys R Us went out. You know a game we really need to jump into? What's that? Streaming entertainment.
Yeah.
Why? We're Walmart. What does that mean? It means we're Walmart. We're doing this.
That's about as silly as like it was like years ago. I believe that like Best Buy bought the Napster property to try to reinvigorate Napster. Problem with Napster is it was successful because it was free.
Yeah.
It gave you music for free. It allowed piracy. I mean, shame on you now, or however that finger gesture. I don't want to throw up gang signs, but
Justin Timberlake has a thing to say about that.
Yeah, so does Metallica and Dr. Dre. And well, for those of y'all that remember the early 2000s Napster,
it's because Justin Timberlake played Sean Parker in the.
Oh, that's right. There's that reference too. Yeah. And well, then Seth Green also has a thing or two to say about that as well.
Sure.
Because he's the one who actually created Napster, according to Italian Job. But Best Buy buying Napster, that one was funny. I think they bought like the Movies Anywhere app as well, something like that.
Apparently Fandango bought Vudu.
Fandango bought Vudu.
So Vudu was Walmart, but Fandango owns it now. According to Partisan in the chat there.
Okay. And then the other one I'm wanting to check out, again, as a huge horror movie fan.
Oh, this is where I tune out.
I'm really wanting to check out Shudder. I've originally when Shudder came out, I was like, I I don't know if that's going to be popular enough. It's going to get like a couple like really like cheap B movie, and not even B movies. It's probably going to get like the D list. Just something that someone is hoping to be in a make horror movies while they're filming it on their iPhone, and not Steven Soderbergh levels of filming a movie on their iPhone. They're just doing something, trying to be clever. No, they've actually got some good like quality content on there, so I'm probably gonna check that out. So if you like horror movies, maybe give Shudder a look at. Other ones that you can wake up now.
Ooh,
other ones. Apparently, there's this like one called Netflix.
What's that?
Apparently it's a movie service. I found out like a long time ago, back when I was in the military. Actually, they used to do
long time.
Yeah, they did DVD delivery where they would just mail out DVDs.
What's a DVD?
DVD was like a disc. It kind of looked like a CD.
What's a CD?
CD is a disc that kind of looks like a DVD.
Oh, got it. Cool.
Okay.
I'm with you now.
So they would mail these out to you, and then you'd watch it, and then you'd send it back in the mail. Anyways, joking aside, Netflix, of course, is like the godfather of the entire streaming.
The downfall of Blockbuster.
Yeah. Actually, yeah. I think that was it. Blockbuster had the opportunity to purchase Netflix, and they didn't. They decided, no, we're just going to start our own.
And as soon as they started their own, Netflix went to digital streaming.
Yeah.
And Blockbuster's like, wait, no, we mail DVDs now.
DVDs in the mail?
We mail DVD.
Can we do DVDs?
Here's the thing. Physical media is a great thing. If I could afford more, I would be buying more physical media right now. I can't afford it right now.
And Redbox is still popular.
And Redbox is still great too. Here's the thing with Blockbuster is if they had been smart, they would have done what businesses need to do, and is catch what's happening in culture and adapt. For them, we have a situation. We have a situation where there could have been a world where Blockbuster was one of the streaming services. Blockbuster would be creating its own original entertainment. Blockbuster would be like Apple, would be like Netflix, would be like something that started as one thing and then turned to creating its own original content, having its own streaming service of some sort. And Blockbuster could actually have still been pretty successful with that model.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever was in charge of Blockbuster did not catch on to that quick enough.
No.
And now there's only one that exists somewhere in either Oregon and Alaska. And
I think the last one is supposedly in Alaska.
And they run a funny little...
I don't know if
Twitter.
they're related.
Okay. If you're going to interrupt me.
But the last Blockbuster Twitter account is hilarious.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at.
Yeah. Oh, well, nicely said then.
Anyway, that would have been interesting to see if that happened. But no, Netflix is the giant right now. Netflix is... And the thing about Netflix, and I think the reason why you pay attention to Netflix, is their original content now. They have been smart and have been adapting in the right ways before we even knew that they should be making the right moves.
Yeah.
They switched over to the digital streaming right when they should have, because they had enough foresight to do so. I know that they still do mail like DVDs and Blu-rays and stuff, but that you don't hear about that often because people just download the app.
It used to be, and that's what I'm wondering, it used to be you would go to search for a movie, kind of like what I was saying earlier, like, hey, I'm in the mood to watch this movie, and you would search on Netflix, because you have Netflix, so why wouldn't you?
Yep.
You'd search for it, and it says, it's not available, but it is available for DVD, so if you would like to increase your subscription by like $2, you could have the DVD sent out to you, and you could watch it tomorrow or the next day type of thing. I haven't seen that lately. Now it's like if you search for a movie and it's not on Netflix,
You just have to go to their website and just
it's not on Netflix.
order it yourself.
I guess.
You just have to manually find
But
it.
it hasn't suggested to me like, hey, order it for the DVD.
No, because they want you're on the app, they want you to watch something that's on the app there.
Yeah.
So that's something. And then they moved into the territory of creating their own original content. They brought out the House of Cards, the Orange is the New Black, the Stranger Things, all of these TV shows that brought in so many viewers. And that's one of the big things that you see now with a lot of these streaming services, that they are actually following that model and turning to their own original content. which that is becoming a main draw, and it's what I believe is with respect to what you do for a line of work, is killing the cable industry little by little.
Potentially. Cable companies have gotten smart, and I know not just mine, so I'm not going to mention the company I work for, but a lot of the cable companies are starting to do streaming on their own. Whether they do like a streaming package where it just includes like a group of cable channels that you could just stream without having to get an actual box, or some of them are, I believe like a couple of them actually are starting their own streaming network, creating their own like original shows and stuff, and they're streaming that way as well.
It's interesting the way this is all going though, because I remember back in the day when we were talking about how does a cable provider survive? How do we survive with cable going forward into the future?
Streaming,
especially as packages and bundles and getting a cable box and all that has been rising up in price for a lot of people. I know back in the day we were all speculating like, well, what they need to do is they need to move to a structure where you get a package that's 25 channels, and it's the 25 channels that you want, that you would always watch. That way, if you're like a bachelor living on his own and you like Comedy Central and you like, Spike or whatever the channels are called. I haven't watched TV in forever.
Spike.
Yeah. I don't know if it's still called Spike at this point.
We'll go with that.
You're somebody who likes all these, but you're definitely not into home and garden television. You would get a cable package that does not include that.
And I know mine does. The place I work at, they do something like that.
So that's something that is moving forward now, and that's
actually one of our popular like streaming packages, in that it comes with like your local channels, and then you get to pick from a list of cable channels, a certain number of channels, but you get to pick from that list. And then that's it. That's what you are paying for. You are paying for exactly what you want to watch. And I believe it also comes with like all those like crazy the music channels, the music choice channels that just play
all
music.
The different genres of music, and you just put it on.
And it comes with that. The actual package price for that is a fantastic deal. But just I don't think a lot of people still haven't gotten to that yet. Normally when you talk about cable, you're still talking about a physical box, and would you like to upgrade to a DVR for an extra $10 a month or whatever?
So I think we live in a world where you see a situation of cable needing to make those adaptations and to try to survive and everything too. Otherwise, most people cut the cable cord completely and they just go directly to just the streaming. I could be spending $60, $70, $80 or whatever for cable, however much, maybe more, on cable. Instead, let me put $30, $40 towards, 3 or 4 streaming services that I know I'm going to be watching all the time. Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, got it. Nailed it.
The thing is there's a lot of streaming to hit all of those streaming companies. And this is one of the things, the company I work for is one of the... Since I'm technically a salesperson for this, one of the things that they tell us about when trying to pitch a cable TV package is how to deal with like the customer concerns. Are like, well, I'm subscribed to Netflix and Hulu and Disney Plus and HBO Max and Amazon Prime. I'm like, yeah, you're subscribed. How much are you spending on all those when you could get a cable package that's going to give you just about as much content, if not more than that, for less than probably what you're paying for all of these streaming networks altogether? So the cable companies are actively like trying to dissuade you away from these streaming services.
Ultimately, I don't know if that's necessarily something that's going to work. Again, with respect to the fact that that's your job currently, I don't necessarily know if that is as an idea that really works in the long term, because you're looking at all these different streaming services, and sure, there's going to be a lot of people who are like, well, let me just sign up for everything because everything's got something interesting on it. But then there's going to be people who like say me, I would be picky and choosy. Like, how much is on Hulu that I really want to watch right now? Probably not much. And well, with a lot of these streaming services, you can cancel them, no charge, sign back up for it later when something pops up that you want to see, watch it for a month, get off. I know for a lot of people that's going to be a pain to try to have to bounce between that every month, but
so is bouncing between cable companies too.
yeah.
When your cable bill goes up, because that's how cable bills work, and you're like, well, I'm just going to bounce between this company and that company, and then I'm going to go back over here, and just every year you're getting like a new customer pricing promotion on your cable. Yeah, that's such a huge pain.
If you're telling somebody like me who's into, say, I want to watch Office and Parks and Rec and I want to watch Star Trek, well, you've got Peacock and you've got CBS All Access that you can jump onto.
Mm-hmm.
Those are your options. Hop on those. Don't worry about the cable. You're paying maybe $20.
See, that's the new thing. Now you've got your local channels essentially are creating their own streaming networks.
I mean, to a degree, like Fox and Disney, or Fox and ABC are Disney Plus. You've got CBS All Access on its own. NBC's got Peacock that just came out, which I heard is not great right now. But yeah, that's not one that we've actually like dived into to check out yet, just because from what I've seen, from what I've heard, they don't really have a whole lot of great movie content on Peacock at the moment. It really is just hey, do you like the old NBC favorites? Yeah. All right, hop on here. Oh, by the way, we don't have The Office yet. That contract will be up next year with Netflix, and then we'll get it.
But hop on our service
But still hop
now
on our service anyway.
and just wait for it.
We have a free option. You can watch, 1 or 2 seasons of your favorite shows and pay, or not pay, and you can watch ads.
Oh, is Seinfeld on there? What about Friends? Is Friends on there?
I think Friends is on HBO Max.
It is on HBO Max, so therefore it's probably not on Peacock.
Yeah, so that's the problem is a lot of these streaming companies, and this is the other topic here, is a lot of these streaming companies come out of the gate with these ideas of, all right, I want my own streaming service, and here's just the content that we're going to put on there. They're not taking enough time to actually stop and go, okay, yes, we want to have a streaming service, but maybe we should wait and come up with some original content. Maybe we should wait and get some of these like bigger name properties so that people have a reason to sign up on day one.
That's why I know, like HBO Max. This was an interesting one for HBO Max, and I think we briefly talked about this before. Is at launch they said, "Hey, we are getting the Zack Snyder cut."
Yeah.
Now they're not getting it for like a whole nother year, but we're getting it. That's a huge push for HBO Max. And going back to if they get New Mutants, if HBO Max, if what's going on with New Mutants, the contracts and everything, if that's the way it has to go, that's a big one for HBO Max. HBO Max getting Scoob was a big one. It's essentially still a first-run movie that just arrived on HBO Max. So that's what's going to help push it in the right direction. Same with Disney Plus. Disney Plus is getting first-run movies. Hamilton, putting Hamilton on Disney Plus.
Big one.
That was supposed to be what, like next year?
Next October, not this October. Next October.
Yeah. So more than a year away, Hamilton was supposed to come out.
They just dropped it on.
And
Disney
they just
Plus.
dropped it on Disney Plus. And now they did the smart thing.
Yeah,
I think
if you want to watch Hamilton, you actually have to sign up for Disney Plus.
Yeah.
You can't just do the free trial and watch it. You actually have to sign up to see it.
Yeah, that was the smart idea. And from what I've seen, as many people as there are talking about Hamilton, and like we're saying, everyone's got the song stuck in their head, and like we just can't stop with this. I would call that a success. It sounds like that was extremely successful.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a great thing. But you look at all these, so a bunch of these streaming services popped out here recently. I mean, obviously you got the HBO Max, you got Peacock, CBS All Access is still trying to do some stuff with Star Trek and the Twilight Zone.
Twilight. Twilight Zone.
But then you got Apple TV Plus is still trying to make its way, and I think they're trying to push more for original content. And
because they got that Tom Hanks movie Greyhound.
Yeah.
Which Tom Hanks is like, I really wish it went to a theater instead, but
yeah.
But Tom Hanks, you say Tom Hanks in a World War II picture, yeah, that's gonna be some good viewing right there.
Sure.
He anything he has his hands on having to do
Tom
with
Hanks
World War II.
is in a movie.
Yeah, well, I mean, just in general.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's the thing. Like, I don't know if we really start seeing some huge drops on a lot of these streaming services for the rest of the year. But there is a lot of content out there. Obviously, the streaming services, everyone's going to have their favorites. They're going to pick their favorites. Some of them are duds out of the gate, like Peacock, and HBO Max wasn't fantastic out of the gate, but
it depends.
It's good for us because there's a lot there that we do want to see.
I think HBO Max was good given your circumstance and position on things. Like, again, I dived straight into that TCM. Yep. One of the other things, and I need to pick this back up pretty soon also, one of the other things that I wanted to dive into is the Studio Ghibli movies. So I immediately, almost like on launch day, or Ghibli, whatever, on launch day or the day after.
Someone's offended, I'm sure.
I jumped into Spirited Away, which was fantastic.
Yeah.
And so there's a couple others that I'm eager to watch on there. Even though I haven't really been a big fan of like anime type of movies, just the critical acclaim of those movies, I need to watch them.
As good of a discussion as this is, though, there is. I would recommend that everybody goes and watches. Dan Merle does a breakdown on a lot of these new streaming services, and kind of breaks down section by section within what's in the library, saying if you're coming to it for this reason, if you want, like, say HBO Max, he did it for HBO Max. He's like, if you want to come at it from the DC, well, maybe you want to hold off a little bit. Some of the DC properties are leaving, and then next year is when the Snyder Cut's coming, so you might want to wait. If you're coming to it for, classics, great. There's a bunch of classics here. So Dan Merle does a good breakdown of this. He did one for Peacock also. I would highly recommend going and checking out his videos on these because he just does a great job really defining, is this a streaming service that you as a consumer really want to dive into right now, or do you want to wait?
So Dan Merle, for those of y'all who know from the Schmodown,
and Screen Junkies.
He left Screen Junkies and he's now running his own YouTube channel. So essentially, we have effectively segued from talking about the streaming platforms.
You know what's really cool?
To the YouTube channels. Now, wouldn't you think that segueing between streaming platforms to YouTube channels would be difficult?
I'm not giving you this.
Come on, you want to say it.
I'm not giving you this.
I would think that
segueing... Because what's better than making a joke about segueing is just not calling out that you're segueing, which is what I was trying to do.
I know, but I wanted to make sure that we pointed out to the audience that segueing was going to be super easy, barely an inconvenience.
Wow.
Hey,
wow.
Calling out segues is tight. So, yes, I called out that segue. Now I'm going to need you to get all the way off my back about it.
Stop dropping every single quote from Pitch Meeting.
There's also a lot of good movie content on YouTube, which just so happens to be the very same place that you're watching us right now. If you're watching us and you're not listening to us on a podcast. If you're watching us, we're on YouTube.
Which, by the way, for those of you watching, this is absolutely your time to start chiming in on the chat because we want to start sharing this experience with you. What other content, what other movie-related channels are out there that you actually enjoy outside of us? Drop them in the chat. List them. You don't have to Streamlab. You don't have to Super Chat those. You can if you want because we would greatly appreciate that. But start dropping them in the chat. We want to have this conversation with you guys out there about all these different channels and kind of what it is that you like about them. Maybe you drop some ones that we've never heard of that we actually want to start checking out.
Yeah, so I posted this, yesterday or the day before on the Cinefanatics Twitter.
On the twits?
On the twits. About people just naming what's your favorite YouTube movie content channel. And nobody responded.
Yeah, we retweeted it.
We are wanting fan interaction. So make sure you follow us on Twitter, Cinefanatics MLP, so when we ask these questions,
as those will probably be coming more and more in the future,
they're going to be. We ask a question, people answer. That's typically the way questions work.
The great thing about Cinefanatics is that we're all Cinefanatics, and so we can all participate in the Cinefanatics conversation together.
Yeah. So, again, let us know in the chat, because we're asking again. You're in the chat. Let us know. What's some movie content you like? Now, while we wait for people to respond, What's some ones? Let's talk about, I guess, our personal ones.
The easy one right off the bat, and it's funny that I mentioned that we're not going to bring this up too much more on this particular show, is the Schmodown.
Yeah.
Movie trivia. That's the easiest door in for a lot of people who just really love movies. They feel like they can answer questions about it. Schmodown. There you go. Watch it.
So anyone watching this who is not completely familiar, Schmodown it's essentially a game show. It's like wrestling where you have storylines, you have good guys, bad guys. You have plots that run through multiple episodes, essentially.
Yeah.
So it's like wrestling where all of that is happening and typically is fictionalized, but then you also have the actual movie trivia aspect where these people are competing. They're sitting at a table and they're answering questions for points, for glory, for all the marbles.
Yeah.
All of Toodle's marbles that he lost. That they're playing. That's what they're playing this game for. So that was a big one just because if you like movies, if your ability to recall is good, it's a lot of fun to play along with at home. That's why we do reactions to them as well. But I would say, like, even going further back than that, I think before Schmodown, one of the big ones I think first really got me into movie YouTube channels was Honest Trailers by Screen Junkies.
Yeah.
I think the first one I remember watching was the Thor Honest trailer and thinking, this is fantastic. These guys are really doing a number on Thor, and it's great. It actually was honest. And then
they've been literally the most consistent throughout the years. Their format hasn't changed really pretty much at all.
Slight differences
here and there, but for the most part, they've remained consistent, and they're still one of the ones that you go to every time on a Tuesday. You click on YouTube. What's up? Oh, yeah. Honest Trailers just dropped a new video. Let's check it out.
Mm-hmm. So they have a lot of good content with that, and I think that's what kind of helped after I had started watching those, and then I started watching other Screen Junkie stuff and got to know who the Screen Junkies were behind the scenes, and then that's when I went looking for like movie trivia. Like, is there just some good movie trivia on YouTube as well? And that's when I came across the Schmodown, and then I recognized Dan Merle was a part of that. There was actually like Screen Junkies that are a part of that, and then also you had people from like Movie Fights who were coming from like Collider and stuff. So they were all
your John Roca and your Scott Mance coming over.
Yeah, you had them over. So there was that intermingling of these two, and that made it easier to start getting into the Schmodown from that particular angle. Now it's like they're all one big like happy family. And
for the most part.
I love watching all that content. So that was probably like the first foray. So Screen Junkies, Honest Trailers, on into Schmodown, of course. And then once you got into Schmodown, there was also the other content that was provided by Collider. Yeah. And that's about as far as we'll go with that one. Because most of that content's not there anymore.
I love VR.
Yeah. Well, the nice thing about that is that content from Collider that they had with those personalities, they have since moved on from there, and a lot of those personalities have started their own YouTube channels and created their own content. So those are now great to watch.
And the likes of, say, Mark Riley, John Roca, make sure not to mention him fourth, Roxy Stryer, like Coy Jandreau.
Technically Coy Jandreau. I know he still does stuff for Collider once you're able to again.
When there's not a pandemic. But yeah, a lot of these individuals have started their own channels, are doing their own live streams, they're talking about entertainment news, all sorts of stuff that's going on in the world, and they're all personalities that absolutely deserve to have an audience on their own channels completely. Yeah. And they're all fun to watch. I mean, they all hit different markets, just as I hit the light as I readjust myself. They all hit different markets and different people in different ways, and so they're all great watches depending on what you're into. On top of that, you got your other comedy ones, like Honest Trailers was comedy.
Yeah,
you have
the ones that are like nitpicking the movie essentially.
Yeah, you have Cinema Sins, you have Pitch Meeting, which we will introduce that because I know a lot of people don't know about that yet. But
Pitch Meeting is really good.
Okay.
Well, you wanting to come back to it?
Yeah.
Okay.
You have Cinema Sins. You have Pitch Meeting. You have How It Should Have Ended.
Hizzy.
However they say it. There's a lot of these that tackle the parodying of a movie in a different way, and they're all pretty funny.
CinemaSins is good just because, like, essentially Jeremy and I guess his crack team of writers sit there and they watch a movie, and at some points it looks like that they take every single scene and they're just completely focused on everything in the scene. Like, how can we nitpick this scene?
Yeah.
Recently, they've gone in and they've done sins over Shawshank Redemption, and today they dropped The Princess Bride. Both of these are movies I was like, you don't touch those. Those are perfect movies. You do not need to sin Princess Bride and Shawshank Redemption. And he still did. And some of them are pretty funny. I know, like in the Princess Bride one today, he points out some stupid sin about like the video game that Fred Savage is playing at the beginning of the movie, and how he's sitting in bed with the TV across the room, and he's like, "Wait a minute, the joystick wouldn't have a cord that long back then." He's like, "And I know I'm nitpicking here, but this is darn near a perfect movie, so I have to find something."
Yeah.
Like, and he did jokes like that in the Shawshank Redemption one also, but the jokes are good. The funny thing, though, with CinemaSins real quick is that you've also got the CinemaSins parody, like The Birdman. The Birdman's probably one of the biggest ones I've seen, where you've got this other guy who's now going back and watching CinemaSins and pointing out where the fallacies in Jeremy's logic, or how Jeremy just seems to always be pointing out pop culture references or something. That is hilarious.
It's a format that a couple different channels have taken, where they go back and they nitpick the things that CinemaSins is nitpicking.
Yeah.
The Birdman is the one that I think has been the most clever with it. He's the most intelligent with how he responds. And the great thing about him is that that's not just all he does on his channel. He does all stuff. He does the Twitch gaming and all that too. So he hits a bunch of different markets on his specific channel, not just that, but he has been the most clever with it, and to the degree that I think he's gotten so much notoriety from doing it that while Jeremy hasn't outright said it, he's definitely made some comments in later CinemaSins that seem like a response to some of the things that the Birdman was pointing out.
Like, hey, I'm preparing for the Birdman to trash this sin. Let me go ahead and just CYA right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's funny. We mentioned Hishy, how it should have ended.
Yeah.
Which is all animated. That one is good just because they come out with content pretty quick, and it's still pretty topical when they come out. But they do these what looks like hand-drawn animations, and again, it's kind of nitpicking the movie. Like, wait a minute. The ending that this movie had was kind of stupid. If we sit here and think about like how it really should have ended, should this had happened like in real life, it makes a lot more sense that it would go off in this direction. And a lot of that, they come up with some really funny stuff on that. Some of them are like blatantly obvious that like if you're just a fan of movies, that you would think of this and like, yeah, okay, this is exactly what I was expecting. Even when I was watching the movie, I was like, wait a minute, that's not how that would go in real life. But they pointed out, and you're like, yeah, okay, someone agrees with me. That's exactly what that content is there for.
Again, guys, as we're going through these, we're kind of mentioning our favorites here. If you've got any favorites yourself, like any YouTube channels out there that do movie-related content, again, drop them in the chat. Let's have a discussion. I would like to know about them. Tell us what you like about them, what your favorite thing is about them. I see that Garth just popped up. Garth is here now, and I know that Garth knows quite a few good channels out there that he knows and loves. So I'm sure he's got something that that maybe we haven't heard of that he wants to spread to more people. I know Garth is one of the few people that knows about pitch meetings also.
Yeah, Garth is always posting the pitch meetings when they drop. He posted on his own Twitter. Pitch meetings are fantastic. So
they're tight.
Yeah, pitch meetings are tight. There's a channel, Screen Rant. Screen Rant typically does like a lot of like either movie news, but they also do like lists.
Yeah, they're a channel that's otherwise typically very boring.
Yeah, but they found a very, very strong, powerful asset in pitch meeting, which is taking this one YouTuber, Ryan George. He's a very comical fellow.
Yeah, he's great.
And he's got a certain way. He's created videos where he is essentially doing videos with himself, typically in front of a green screen, playing multiple characters. He has his own YouTube channel where he's like, doing videos like the first person to have a name or the first person to learn how to swim type of thing.
First person to go trick-or-treating or to punch a guy.
Yeah, like they're all hilarious. He's very great personality, but now he does this thing with Screen Rant where he plays a screenwriter and a producer, and it's the screenwriter pitching the movie to the producer, and again, kind of the same along the same idea that we're like kind of poking fun of the movie, but as the screenwriter's pitching it, the producer's like, wait, wouldn't they like do this, that, or the other? And the screenwriter's like, yeah, probably, but that's not how I wrote it. So moving on. Oh, okay.
Or sounds good then.
Or he'll say something like, but wait, that doesn't make any sense. And the screenwriter guy's like, yeah, I know it doesn't make any sense, but I'm going to need you to get all the way off my back about this not making sense.
All right, let me hop off that thing.
Yeah, so it's witty. There's a lot of quotes that have come from that show, a lot of which we've already said right now. But it's just hilarious. It's one of my favorites. Not only just the pitch meeting, but also the Ryan George YouTube channel as well. Which
it's great because I don't know how I stumbled across pitch meeting, but I remember finding it and I showed you it, and then you got addicted to them too. But the thing is that in that time of having also subsequently found Ryan George's channel, I believe when we first discovered all of this, Ryan George only had like 90,000 subscribers on his channel.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure dude is dang near upwards of 500,000 at this point.
Yeah.
His channel has skyrocketed in the last like year and a half. So that's saying like something good about his level of like humor and how far reaching he is. Yeah, he's at 483,000 subscribers
from 90.
And I definitely remember him being around the 90,000 range when we first started. So he's been growing exponentially, and that's because he's hilarious.
Yeah.
He is one of the few channels, and the reason why I want to highlight him, even though he's not directly not everything he does on his channel is directly about movies. In fact, most stuff that he does on his channel isn't. He is somebody who has found the secret to getting me to watch sponsored content on YouTube channels.
Oh, yes.
Because he does the video, and he says, like, this video is sponsored by, say, like, Manscaped.
More about
them at the end of the sketch. And then you watch the sketch, and then afterwards, he does, like, the video ends, but then explosion, and you have the Adstronaut, which is his way of doing an ad, is an astronaut out in outer space that is pitching essentially the product or whatever the sponsor is. He does it in a clever way, and it's hilarious every time because he finds a way to take the script that he's being given from the sponsors and interweave some kind of like storyline regarding I'm in space kind of with it.
Wasn't he like at one point he was trying to sell like pillows or something, and he was talking about like how his brother back on Earth was like stealing the pillows all the time. Like, these pillows are so good, my brother keeps stealing them. I don't know what's going on. I'm floating out in space.
Yeah.
Like, is that kind of stuff.
He's managed to somehow make it worth sticking around and watching an ad after a video.
He also was unfortunately a victim of the Manscaped, in which case he's interacting with an alien, and the alien is using the Manscaped razor to shave his stuff. And, like, it's one of those, if all ads were created like that, I would watch ads like all day.
Absolutely.
Do you hear me, Facebook and Google? I would watch those ads. Get him to do your ads.
Yeah, and that comes back to the same standpoint. I mean, it's an ad with a heightened level of humor that just really grabs you. It's the reason why I will watch Old Spice commercials all the time.
Yeah.
Because the Old Spice commercials are hilarious.
Or commercials that play during the big game. The big game that usually is like in February, but probably not happening this next year. Because apparently it was just announced today that they canceled NFL preseason. So there goes sports.
Let's
talk about movies.
Again, guys, movies. So Garth actually just dropped some in there in the chat that I do actually want to highlight. There's a couple good ones that I do want to make sure that we talk about because some of these people are friends with us.
Yeah, and there's another one on there that I do watch all the time that I completely forgot when coming up with my own personal list that I want to mention too.
We obviously have to highlight Late to the Party because Robert and Vanessa are good people.
They're fantastic people. They do great movie content.
They're pros at reactions.
Yeah, they were one of the forefathers as far as Schmodown reactions.
Yeah, and they're really like big figures in helping us kind of get our feet on the ground as far as the reactions that we started almost 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So that's they are absolutely like they're not even at 100,000 subscribers yet. They deserve a lot more than they've got. So if you are somehow listening to this on podcast or you are watching this on a replay later on, you absolutely need to hop on late to the party and subscribe to them, because they are criminally low on subscribers.
Yeah. And you also got Real Rejects, who are also reactors. They don't do Schmodown reactions, but they play on the Schmodown.
They are creeping up closer to 1 million here and there. I think they're at 600-something thousand, so they deserve a bunch of subscribers too.
They have so what helps with their or their reactions is their personalities. Especially like they'll do stuff like if we know the Avengers Endgame trailer is dropping at a certain time, they actually not only do they stay up so they're able to record that reaction the second it drops, but they'll even go and they'll film like some funny like little bit like, hey guys, the trailer's about to drop, wake up everyone, like I don't know, they did like some funny, I know they did a funny thing with like the Joker and like a Spider-Man, like they do these like little funny bits with it, and it's just their pure comedic personality behind that.
They have a great dry sense of humor that actually just really just plays so well.
Yeah. The other one that Garth mentioned here was the Corridor Crew, and I know Christian Harloff has mentioned this on SEM before. These guys are fantastic. They work basically in a special effects warehouse, and then they have various series where they do like special effects. People react to special effects in movies, and they'll pick them apart. They'll talk about good effects, bad effects, how the effect was done, stuff that you didn't even notice, that you didn't see. I know one of the big ones that I really liked was 1917, when they would do reactions to 1917. For those of y'all who have seen it, essentially watching that movie, if you notice, the camera doesn't cut away. It's all one giant take. There is no fading out, scene change, or anything.
That's ridiculous. A movie can't be filmed that way. That's
exactly,
silly.
And that's one of the things that they pointed out is the fact that
the camera has to cut.
The camera has to cut.
So you got to hide the cut.
People have to eat. People have to go pee. They have to cut. And so it was how they hid the cuts. And a lot of these, there's ones where like if you're into video editing, kind of like we are, you could probably guess like
something passes in front of the camera.
Okay, passes in front of it, you can cut along that line. And there's a couple of them that we were able to like immediately call out while watching me. There's some I didn't even know until Corridor Crew pointed it out.
They called it out.
They called it out, and I'm like, wow, you can't even see that, or that's the weirdest place to cut. To edit that movie in there,
they have to like digitally recreate some things in order to make the scene flow, and it's really good. Absolutely recommend. If not any other video of theirs, which there's a lot of videos of theirs that you need to check out, find the one where they're talking about 1917, especially if you've seen 1917. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Garth mentions another one that I actually enjoy a whole lot is Mr. Sunday Movies.
Mm-hmm.
I don't consistently watch his stuff, but every now and then he'll pop out a video like, oh yeah, I do want to hear that, because him and James, it's the two of them on that channel. They like the Real Rejects have honestly even a drier sense of humor, to be honest. He is somebody. It's like, hey, you're watching my channel. That's cool. Thank you. Whatever. That's all right. He has perfected the nonchalant guys. Like, hey, hey, welcome to my channel. All right, and it's hilarious. He's also got that thick Australian accent too, but he's somebody who does a lot of actually like low key, where he makes it sound like he doesn't care as much. He definitely does. I mean, he obviously mentions like, hey, we really appreciate you being on the channel, but the level of deep dives that he goes into some of his content sometimes is actually really worth checking out. He does some fun stuff, like he'll do like Garth mentioned, he does the Caravan of Garbage. Well, he'll go back and highlight something, either it was an old movie or it was a adjacent product related to that movie. Like, say, oh, the topic of the day is Fantastic Four. Let's go back and watch, the 90s, that old 90s Fantastic Four movie.
94 Roger Corman.
Yeah. Or then he'll later on he did the later Fantastic Four movies.
Which is just as good as the 94 Roger Corman one.
Yeah, or like there's an X-Men subject and he goes back and does like an old X-Men video game of some sort and highlights some of the silly. They just go through and just talk about some of the silly things and some of that stuff. And like, well, this was kind of weird. It's weird. But he just goes in depth on a lot of the content and he does it in such a funny way.
The other one, speaking of weird, who's the guy that does the weird trailers?
Aldo Jones. I haven't seen him in a minute.
I haven't seen him do stuff, but his stuff was really good.
Trailers
he does really weird. I don't know how to describe it. He does really good cuts and like little.
I would describe his trailers, his re-edits of these shows as a cluster F.
A cluster F of like mushroom tripping,
just
whatever.
Random. He's got mainstays that he throws in there. Like he'll throw the emo Peter Parker from Spider-Man 3 just in the middle of the trailer somewhere.
Bully McGuire, yeah. Or the Mark Ruffalo.
Mark Ruffalo. Hey, huh? Yeah. He does all sorts of stuff. That's a channel that I haven't seen a lot from him lately, but we also haven't seen trailers lately. So
yeah. The other ones I'll kind of want to wrap this up that I want to call out are the lists. There's a couple of good list ones, at least the ones I know I watch.
Mojo.
I will enjoy a Watch Mojo list every once in a while. A lot of their stuff does get stale, and they kind of like repackage the same list under a different like title or viewpoint and stuff. But Watch Mojo, I can get into that. What Culture is a good one also. What Culture is made up of a bunch of British people that all have like they have good personalities. They have like good jokes and stuff, but they also are very insightful on how they describe movies. So I kind of like them, especially was it Ash talking about any horror movies.
Yeah.
She's fantastic at horror movie talks. I would love to see her do like a horror movie exhibition
in the Schmodown
if she was able to get on that. And then the other one that I would say that probably saving the best for last is Sean Chandler. That's how I first like stumbled upon his channels. He does like lists. He does break down. It's just him on his channel. So he will rate movies like he'll pick movie categories. Like he'll do all the Batman movies and he'll rate them all. Or
his commitment to his topics are impressive though.
Yes.
Since we've had opportunities to talk with him and kind of get insight into how he does his stuff.
First of all, he's also from Austin, so fellow Austinite like us.
If you watched the episode where he was actually on the show, he does a lot of really good detail. Like he commits to watching an entire series or almost an entire certain specific genre of some sort in order to do these ranking videos.
Rank the 50 Shades of Grey movies.
So you know that you're getting an opinion of somebody who is well versed in their opinion, has taken the time to really flesh out their opinion and kind of form it. That's something that I really like about him, because you don't see, again, it comes down to how much commitment are you spending on the product that you're selling on YouTube. He does a lot.
Yeah. And that's one of the things it's nice talking to him, because what he does is kind of what I would like to aspire to. I don't want to copy him, but like his commitment to Sparkle Motion and what he does with his YouTube channel is something that I want Cinefanatics to be.
You need to watch out. A plane engine's going to fall on you.
Yeah. I want to push to that kind of work, because like we've seen through his videos, he makes announcements as to what videos are coming through the week. He creates his own schedule, and he sticks to it. And he is he works for himself. He's his own boss, yes, but he is literally his own boss. He puts this out there, and he's got to hold himself to it. His YouTube viewers are essentially holding him to it, and he's good with it. He's loyal to these viewers. He's successful, and that's what continues to drive his popularity. Yeah. And on top of that, he's extremely knowledgeable about movies to boot. So, he's coming for the Schmodown, and I believe the Schmodown is going to have some fun competition once he enters. That's gonna be a blast.
We'll see. We'll see how everything turns out and shakes out next year. But anyway,
the other thing, was there anything else that I would say, not necessarily focused on movies, but maybe like slightly movie-like that on YouTube that you like? Anything that might touch upon movies? For example, the one I like calling out because I like cooking. I'm also a big fan of Binging with Babish, because he typically will recreate meals from like movies and TV shows. Yeah. So you get that movie aspect of it, but you also get to enjoy watching someone cook, and then he explains it in such a way it's real easy to recreate how he's cooking. He's not a professional chef, but he recreates stuff. And
I would trust him more than a lot of other people in the kitchen, though.
yeah, definitely. So anything else like that where it's just kind of like, where it's like cooking adjacent?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. But not cooking adjacent, movie adjacent type content. If there's anything else that we could think of,
I can't off the top of my head right now, and we're getting to the part where we need to wrap up the show anyway. So
yeah. So as y'all notice, there wasn't much talk about Schmodown. We was mentioning, but really not talking about Schmodown.
Yeah.
So real quick, briefly, we are coming into the Inner Geekdom semifinal matches. We will be reacting to those live. Again, if you haven't heard before, our reactions that we typically do to the Schmodown, we are shifting gears and we are going to be doing live streaming. Typically, if at all possible, we will be getting a special guest on it with us. So our very first one is coming up Thursday night. We will be doing a live reaction to the Barbarian versus John Humphrey in the Inner Geekdom.
For right now, we can do what's coming up this week as far as...
Yes.
We went ahead and nailed down who we've got coming up this week.
Yeah, so our first episode, we will have the Schmodown editor extraordinaire, Mr. Nerd Chronic, Eric Rodriguez.
Hashtag
will be joining
Yodi for
us.
Chronic.
Yeah, hashtag Yodi for Chronic. He will be joining us on there. And then let's go ahead and mention Friday as well.
Yeah, so Friday is going to be an interesting one. It's going to be... I went ahead and jumped over to a certain point of view for those of you guys who are up to date with your Schmodown reactors and after shows. These guys are putting out a fantastic product. They're doing a great job coming from pretty much nowhere and just really making a huge splash on the scene at this point.
Yeah.
They're going to be one of those big mainstays, I think, that we see for years to come now. But I got the chance to go over on their show and hang out with them and kind of chat about the singles tournament bracket for the singles tournament that's coming up here pretty soon. And that was a lot of fun. It was great hanging out with them. But in the process, we also have now Jake Berlin from that channel is going to come hang out with us and actually do the reaction with us on Friday for the Alex Damon versus Mike Kalinowski match.
Yeah, so that's going to be a good one to watch. So that'll be live this Friday on this very channel with Jake Berlin.
Yeah, so typically what's going to happen with these is that we're not necessarily going to hold to a specific time that these drop on, so you're going to want to follow us on social media as we make the announcements there as far as what times these happen. Right now, I know for the Thursday one, we're aiming for about 7 p.m.
I believe like 7 p.m. Central Time.
So, however that shakes out in your time zone. And then for the one with Jake, I believe I actually need to talk with you and him probably about maybe 30 minutes off on this, but somewhere around the 6 o'clock Central Time again.
Yeah.
We live in the Central Time Zone. Somewhere around that time, we will be doing the reaction with him as well. We might go a little bit earlier, but get on the social media, look for the announcements for those. And then we have some big ones coming up a big one coming up for the finals, but we will drop that later.
Yeah, I'm not going to mention who we've got, but I will throw a hint on there. We may have someone from the dungeon joining us.
It remains to be seen. Anyway,
as we get into the finals of the Inner Geekdom tournament, it might be nice to have someone from the dungeon.
You're saying enough. That's enough. So anyway, you're going to want to keep on our channel here. We're going to be doing some great things in regards to Schmodown reactions still, changing up how we talk about the Schmodown on this channel, making it a new kind of a show, doing some new things with it. So
we'll dive more in deep on those.
Come on back and hang out with us.
It's going to be a lot of fun. So
if you listen to audio, click over our channel, subscribe on the YouTube channel, and come hang out with us. It's going to be a ton of fun.
Yeah. And then we got other things we're working on with this channel that we'll probably be releasing, I'm going to say, like within the next month or so.
We can't specify when it's being
released. Because there's
we've
still
got
stuff where
we've got other ideas of things that we want to try on this channel. I've got to have some conversations with some people, and I got to see a man about a horse.
Oh, you got to pee, huh?
Of course.
Oh, okay. So we got to wrap this up because, well, it's been 2 hours. We've had a fairly perfectly ran show tonight. So, again, thank you to all of you in the chat for interaction, for comments. It's been a lot of fun. It's been great. Let's go ahead and let me get the headphones because we're going to start wrapping this thing up. Make sure you follow us
Yeah.
on Twitter and Instagram at CineFanaticsMLP. Again, that's where we're going to be dropping a lot of news. We're going to be asking more questions, hopefully having more interactions with people watching us. That's where you're going to want to follow us to have parts of these interactions.
Yeah, because we're going to be doing some more and more stuff, interacting with the chat during these types of shows. So we want to hang out with you guys and get all the information from you guys that we need to get in order to do that. But also, another way that you can interact with us, again, hop on that Patreon. If you guys are not a part of the Patreon yet, again, we're going to be trying to grow and grow and grow on a bunch of stuff on this channel, and we cannot do it without you. So if you want to jump on that Patreon, there's a bunch of different tiers on there that you can jump on: the $1, the $5, or the $10.
This channel will grow.
We're going to be growing the Patreon also. We're going to be adding tiers as we get more and more members jumping on there. So there's going to be some new and fun stuff that we're going to be doing as we grow. But again, we cannot do it without our wonderful supporters out there in the audience world. So we would really appreciate it if you're not a part of it. Consider jumping on the Patreon today and helping us out, getting us to where we need to get to.
Yeah. Anyways, as you see below our names, you can find our individual Twitter and Instagram. Robert Adams MLP, Chris Adams MLP. You can follow us on there as well. And I think that's going to just about do it.
Wrap it up.
Ooh, there is definitely a delay in the headset. Anyways, hitting that music. That's going to do it for this show tonight. Again, thank y'all for watching. It's been a blast. And
stay hydrated.
Stay hydrated. Yeah. Like what they say in all movies, stay hydrated.
It's hot here in Texas.
Y'all have a great evening. Good night.
See ya.